Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hi everyone. We are going to chapter 2 of Understanding Business Ethics. It's titled as Contemporary Issues in Business Ethics. It's a book by Peter Stanwyck and Sarah Stanwyck. Um, we studied also the definitions of the egoism and Sedgwick's at chapter 1. Now we're talking about contemporary issues in business ethics. If we go through the book, you'll see it's talking about scandals or unethical actions. Promo Group, Promo Group is a company or institution help people, individual companies and individuals who has a lot of people, a lot of money, with high levels of income to shelter the tax exposure of their income. They hide expenses, they show expenses, they try to cut down on the taxes you pay for the government. Clients of this company include the three members of the Rolling Stone, which is a big, how do you call this? A big singer, a big band. CKX, American Idol. Elvis Presley, which was a state, which is the state that takes care of Elvis Presley, you know, the famous singer, and Bono and the rest of the U2. Also, Bono had some charity work for what you call it. He takes care of. He was supporting the movement for the green. Promo Group was able to reduce the total tax paid by the three Rolling Stones members to an aggregated tax rate of 1.5%. يعني نزلوا التاكس ريت تبعهم بدل ما يدفعوا ضريبة ل1.5% فقط. They rolled it down. The Rolling Stone was big band, a famous and very famous music band. Okay, let's see. Go to the next slide or next. We're talking about the history of business ethics. Discovery of ethics began with discussion by Aristotle, Socrates, and Plato. Of course, this is a philosophical issues. As long as there has been commerce, there have been ethical issues about how business is conducted. Of course, yeah, since the beginning of time, when there was any commerce or business trade, there's always been the issues about, there always have been issues of ethics or ethical issues. You know, people do fraud, people cheat, people, you know, all kind of procedures of fraud that could happen in business. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is. Here we complete about the history of the business ethics, how, like, the modern history, let's say. In 1960s, a period of social unrest. That's what marked this period, 1960s. We're talking about the United States now. Issues about the environment and drug use among employees were dilemmas for employers. This era showed the birth of corporate social responsibility movement. Started talking about اللي هي المسؤولية المجتمعية للبيج كوربوريشن، الشركات الكبيرة بدأت تطلع إلى المسؤولية المجتمعية ويساعدوا في بناء المجتمع أو يرعوا بعض المسابقات أو يرعوا بعض الأماكن. 1970 في السبعينات, economy suffered a recession. Human rights issues and environmental issues were major focal point of corporations. Companies began to cover up their wrongdoings rather than deal with issues head up. يعني في السبعينات كان هناك اللي هو الكساد والريسيشن، الكساد الاقتصادي. بعدين بدأت حقوق الإنسان تظهر، الحركات والمشاكل حقوق الإنسان، ثم بدأت الشركات تغطي على مشاكلها بدل ما تتعامل معها، بس تخبيها تحت أنظر الرج. 1980s financial fraud surfaced. بدأ يظهر اللي هو الاحتيال المالي إلى السطح. Loyalty to employers decreased dramatically. اللي هي الولاء أو الانتماء للمشغل أو الوظيفة تناقصت بشكل حاد أو كبير. The Ethics Resource Center helped for the first business ethics office at General Dynamics in 1985. طبعا بدأوا ينشئوا اللي هو Ethics Resource Centers. 1985 was the first office. In 1990s في التسعينات outgrowth of global opportunities for companies, unsafe work practices, child labor issues and environmental issues, and rise of financial mismanagement. In the 2000s, بداية الألفين, financial mismanagement problems, intellectual property theft, cybercrime and personal privacy issues. Of course, this is, the financial mismanagement problems we start showing. طبعا بدأت أيضا سرقة اللي هي الملكية الفكرية والسايبر كرايم، السرقة الإلكترونية والجرائم الإلكترونية. وبدأت الحديث عن اللي هي مشاكل اللي هي الشخصية أو البيرسونال برايفسي، الخصوصية الشخصية. في هذا الوقت في 2002 صدر اللي هو الأكت أو القرار أو القرار القضائي، مرر هذا القضاء اللي Sarbanes-Oxley Act was the most significant event in the United States. مرروا هذا اللي هو الأكت أو هذا القرار القضائي في 2002 اللي سنتحدث عنه بعد later on next. طبعا the role of integrity هي النزاهة، طبعا احنا عارفين defined as a firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values. طب integrity is based on employees' continuous efforts to balance their personal values with the requirements to perform their jobs effectively throughout their careers. The golden rule, which is of the integrity, is reciprocity between the individuals and others. التبادلية. reciprocity معناها التبادلية أو التبادل. طبعا نذهب هنا إلى integrity heuristics، الاستدلال على النزاهة كيف نحددها. publicity test, trusted friend test, reciprocity test, universality test, or obituary test. Let's clear this off the book and we're going to talk about them one by one. The publicity test هنا is the one that asks whether نكبرها شوية. هنا the publicity test asks whether the individual would be comfortable if his or her actions were publicized in a newspaper or on television. يعني هل هتكون انت مرتاح لو الناس اطلعت او انتشر ما تفعل الان؟ اذا ده بداية عن النزاهة تبعتك او المورال تبعتك. يعني are you comfortable اذا if your action او افعالك تنتشر او تنشر او تطلع على التلفزيون او النيوزبيبر. That's one. The second one is the trusted friends. لو قلنا مثلا here it asks whether the individual would be comfortable in telling his or her best friend or close family member about his or her action. هل أنت تشعر مرتاحا إذا بتخبر صديقك بما فعلت؟ هل يعني إذا يكون حاجة أنت مش خجلان منها؟ The reciprocity test, also known as the golden rule اللي احنا حكينا عنها قبل, ask whether the individual treats others as he or she would like to be treated. إن هل تعامل الآخرين كما تحب أن تعامل. The universality test asks whether the individual would consider acceptable behavior if anyone in the world did the same action. يعني عالمية كيف هل أنت تكون متقبلها أو مرتاح إذا كل أحد في العالم عمل نفس اللي أنت عملته، هل بتتقبلها ولا بتعتبرها جريمة أو عيب. The obituary test asks the individual to look back on one's previous action during one's career and ask if he or she comfortable with evaluation. يعني obituary test ask يطلب الشخص إنه ينظر إلى ماضيه أو أفعاله الماضية إنما كان في عمله، ويسأل هل هو مرتاح في تقييم نفسه بما فعله هذاك الوقت. نرجع إلى go back to the slides. These are behaviors of high integrity. Humility, تواضع. Maintain concern for the greater good. Be truthful. fulfill commitments, strive for fairness, take responsibilities for your own actions, have respect for the individual, celebrate the good fortune of others, develop others, reproach unjust acts, be forgiving, extend self for others. These are all acts of or behaviors of high integrity. People النزيه استقامة العالية أو النزاهة العالية. Ethical managers are able to make their own rules. Of course, managers have the ability to establish their own rules pertaining to acceptable and unacceptable behaviors within the organization. Realistic evaluation of ethical conduct is based on what is done in everyday actions. Case example, Greg Smith and Goldman Sachs. Also Goldman Sachs, there's a company, mortgage company, they finance, homes and loans. Of course, is everyone unethical? And unethical behavior can take place in part due to the illusion of objectivity. 4 avenues along which unintentional unethical behavior may be developed: implicit prejudice, in-group favoritism, claiming credit for others' action, and conflicts of interest وتضارب المصالح. طبعا 4 أشياء هذه هي unintentional unethical behavior may be developed، يتطور حتى لما ممكن تكون مش مقصود. implicit prejudice اللي هو التعصب المسبق، مثلا in group favoritism يفضل نقص على شخص. claiming credit for other action يأخذ اللي هو الفخر لأفعال الآخرين أو يبنيها أو يتنيها لنفسه. وطبعا conflict of interest وتضارب المصالح. barriers to ethical organization، لأن الحواجز أو العوائق أمام الشركات الإثيكية الأخلاقية أو الخلقية والمؤسسات. ill-conceived goals، أهداف دنيئة أو مختبئة غير أخلاقية لعلنا نقول. motivated blindness، العمى المشجع أو الإغماء أو يسموه indirect blindness اللي هو العمى أو الغماض الغير مباشر. the slippery slope اللي هو الداون الانزلاق تحت الهاوية. overvaluing outcomes، واللي هي تقييم النتائج أو تكبير أو النتائج اللي هو تقييمها بأكثر مما هي عليه. the cheating culture. In a global study it was discovered that the cheating culture is a worldwide phenomenon. طبعا هذه phenomenon شائع في كل العالم، اللي هي ثقافة الغش. cheating occurred regardless of the level of corruption within the country. الغش طبعا يحدث حتى لما كان نسبة الفساد قليلة في أي دولة. overt corruption within countries will lead to more corruption by the citizens of that country. Female respondents were less likely to support cheating behavior compared with males. طبعا الفيميلز أقل دعما للغش من الرجال. the cheating culture طبعا هنا حكينا هنا هي a few of those which we don't need to go through. Let's go to the next. There's generational differences pertaining to ethics 2009-2011. طبعا بحكي بالdifferent generation. في millennials اللي هم المولودين في 2000, generation X and baby boomers. We're going to talk about those later. The role of trust in ethical conduct. Trust is an important component in the ability for cooperation to be supported throughout the organization. This is the role of trust in ethical conduct. Trust allows employees to believe he or she will be able to blow the whistle on other employees who are performing unethical acts without prejudice. طبعا الثقة هذه يقول لك خلي الامبلويز بلغ عن blow the whistle، معناها بلغ عن حدث أو أفعال غير أخلاقية من مثلا عمال آخرين بيعملوها يعني بدون ما يتحاسب. يعني لو شاف غلط في شركة، انه عنده الحرية هذا الموظف انه يبلغ او ينشر او يخبر انه في شيء بيصير غلط في هذه الشركة، بدل من العمال الموظفين الاخرين، ويعني لن يحاسب على فعلته هذه. طبعا هذا حيكون واثق ما اذا في trust. طبعا it's not easy to have this kind of trust or this kind of confidence. Now في a question for thoughts. We don't need this. Let's go to the next one. List for the questions. I guess the first one we're talking about, Bono fails to see the inconsistencies of his actions. احنا بحكي عن اللي هو بونو اللي احنا حكينا عنه، هو بدعم للتشاريتي وبدافع عن حتى انه على بيحاول يقضي على الفقر من خلال مؤسساته، وفي نفس الوقت بيتهرب وبيحاول يقلل من دفعه للضرائب. هل ترى اي تعارض او عدم اكتمالية في افعاله؟ Do you agree with the argument that corporations are more powerful than government? هل تعتقدون ان الشركات الكبرى اكبر او اقوى من الحكومات؟ And last, do you think how people view what is ethical has changed over time? هل تغيرت نظرة الناس او تفسير الناس لما هو اخلاقي عبر الزمن؟ Do you believe we live in a cheating culture? Explain that. يعني هل تعتقد ان احنا نعيش الان في ثقافة الغش او في مجتمعات الغش؟ ويريد منكم التوضيح. Thank you very much for your cooperation. We appreciate you listening, and inshallah I will upload the homework for the week after that, because you still haven't done. We're not done with the homework, I guess, yet, but we will do it inshallah later on. Inshallah. Thank you very much. You guys have a nice day.